Babe, you need to stop taking everything so personally. I'm begging you. You need to stop letting people get under your skin, because what ends up happening is someone says something or does something that bothers you, and then you ruminate about it. You vent to someone, you're thinking about it all day, you're texting people, you're sharing screenshots. You cannot stop thinking about this thing, and that puts you in a reactive mindset. You are no longer an active participant in your daily life. You are allowing someone else to dictate how you feel and how you behave. You were triggered, you were bothered, and you are not releasing that emotion. And ultimately, what's really important is you are not getting to the root of what caused you to be triggered, what caused you to be bothered. In this video, we're going to talk about how to stay unbothered when it comes to dealing with people, and what you can do to keep yourself from falling into that reactive mindset, and what the ultimate goal is in the end when you are experiencing this enlightenment journey and trying to live from a place of contentment and gratitude rather than a place of reactivity and distress. Before we get into the meat of this video, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Charlotte, and I'm on a journey to become the best version of myself. And the way you do that is by getting this right. On this channel, I talk about personal development topics, anything to do with doing the mindset work and the inner work to really get where you want to go. If that sounds like something that you might be interested in, please consider subscribing or just commenting to let me know that you exist. That's always nice. Also, I want to say a huge thank you if you are a returning viewer, because 2 weeks ago I had 200 subscribers, and now as I film this, I have nearly 2,000. That's wild. That's banana coconuts. Oh my goodness. So thank you so much for being here and for all of your kind words in the comments. Everyone has been so lovely. Even the not so nice comments have not been mean. So that's nice. I like that. That's good. So from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely thank you for tuning in, for subscribing, for such kind comments. Everyone has been very generous and sweet in the comments. Thank you so much. I create my content for myself because ultimately it does bring me a lot of joy and fulfillment, but it is always so nice to hear that it has helped someone else. Like it's never gonna get old. So I really appreciate you being here, commenting, and now that you're watching, please let me know if there's anything you want to see, anything specific, any ideas or insights you have. And I'd love for those who are new here to consider subscribing and sticking around, because this is getting fun. So how do you know if you are in fact bothered? This video is about other people and how other people's behavior affects your mood and how you go about your day and how you feel about yourself. Sometimes it's very obvious to tell when someone has triggered something in you. You are ruminating, you are thinking about it constantly, you're talking to your friends and your family about it, you can't let it go, you are reading a lot of comments on the internet, for example. These are telltale signs that you are bothered. But you can still be bothered if you are not actively thinking about something or someone. I don't know if what I'm about to say is true for everybody, but I can figure out when I'm bothered by feeling the energetic shift within my body. I don't know a single thing about frequencies or wavelengths or quantum physics or vibrations. I don't know any of that science. But what I do know is what I've experienced. And when I am going through life feeling content and full of gratitude and just happy to be alive and loving the people around me and loving what I do, even if it's not the perfect circumstances, there is this internal energy that no one can take from me. I'm living on a different energetic wavelength than when I am living in anger and discontent. When I am living in the energy I want to be in, so I'm expressing gratitude, I'm feeling peace and authenticity, there's this warmth that emanates from inside of me. And it feels like there's no external force in the world that can extinguish it. You know when you have a fever and you feel this almost like bone-chilling cold, like the cold is coming from inside of you. You can't warm up no matter how many blankets and clothes you put on, because the cold feeling is, the chill is not coming from some sort of external source. It's internal. It's almost like that, except it is a feeling of warmth and contentment and positivity and happiness. Like nothing external can come in and extinguish that warmth because it is not being brought about by external factors. If I have allowed someone to get under my skin, that extinguishes that warmth. When that warmth is gone, I am bothered, and it is my job to figure out what triggered it and to release it, to stop taking it personally, to stop allowing it to interfere with that warmth inside of me, that energetic pull that I want to always have inside. I want you to think about this journey of becoming unbothered in two separate phases. There's an ultimate goal and there is an intermediary goal. The ultimate goal is someone could say something incredibly cruel straight to your face, and your response is, Okay. You hear it, it goes in one ear and out the other. It does not resonate. That's the end goal. That's what I think about when I think about being unbothered, that you just simply do not care. You might even find it funny that they felt the need to tell you that. And the way you get to that point is by working on how you feel about yourself, because you want to get so comfortable with yourself. You want to be so sure of your value that someone insulting you or mistreating you in some way does not hold any weight, because it is not a reflection of you. Think about it this way. Imagine someone came up to me and said, "Your purple hair is disgusting." And I would look at them and be very confused and be like, "Are you okay? Do you need to get your eyes checked? Are you colorblind? What are you talking about? My hair is not purple. My hair can't be disgusting if I don't agree with the premise of their statement." I've completely and totally dismissed them as having any credentials about my hair at all. I don't respect their opinion, therefore it's not going to permeate. And in order to get to that point, you have to work on your self-concept, which I talked about in this video. I'll link it up here and in the description. And I feel like because I've been doing the inner work for a while now, I'm getting closer and closer to that point where things are not bothering me as much anymore. I don't need to self-soothe in the moment. It's just an automatic reaction of like, okay, this person is having an issue right now. They need to work on this. This is nothing to do with me. This is them. But occasionally I do still find myself being bothered and feeling triggered by other people's behavior. And I have figured out some steps I can take in order to remove myself from the situation, detach a little bit, allow my emotions to move through me, and then move on with my damn life. Let me walk you through what I do to help myself work through when I'm feeling triggered, how to manage my reaction. Here's an example that can help us work through these steps. You make plans with a friend to meet up for dinner. You confirmed with her the night before. She says, "Yes, I'm so looking forward to it." You spend an hour and a half getting ready, and then you get on the train an hour before you're supposed to meet because you're a very prompt person and you want to give yourself enough time to get there. But 30 minutes into that train ride, you are 30 minutes before you're about to meet her. She texts you and she says she can't make it. She doesn't give you an explanation. She just said, "Hey girl, I'm so sorry I can't make it tonight." That's the only text you get. You start to feel really angry. You're like, "Oh my gosh, why does she always do this? Why is she always flaking on me? Doesn't she respect my time?" So you start to feel the feelings. First step, mindfulness and getting your body right. Wait, close the phone. Do not text her back yet. She might be texting you in a row. Just hold off. Don't reply yet. You don't have a time crunch anymore. She's not showing up. Next, deep breaths. I like to do in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4 as many times as I need to chill out. Get your body into a more relaxed state. Breathing is cliche advice, but it works. It calms your nervous system down. It allows you to take that beat. It builds in a pause into your experience. I also recommend changing your posture. Open up your shoulders, roll your shoulders back, start twisting maybe in your seat, like move your body a little bit. It seems silly, but it's actually a very important step to releasing feelings that are stuck in the body. I think that's why we like dancing. Dancing feels really good to us. It's basically some sort of stemming behavior that allows us to release these feelings a little easier. I also recommend increasing your line of vision. And what I mean by that is don't look at your phone. When you look at your phone, it's very narrow focus of view. Put your phone away. Look around the car. Look up, look down, look at the next car in front of you. Look out the window if it won't make you motion sick. You can do this wherever you are. Just change your point of view. It is metaphorical and physical, I think. Now you've composed yourself, you've taken a few moments to not immediately react. That's honestly half the battle, is not like flying off the handle. So you're doing great. Next step is recognize what you're feeling, name them. You've already started to name them because your initial reaction was like, why does she always do this? Why can't she be respectful of my time? You're feeling frustrated, you're feeling angry, you're feeling disappointed, you're feeling disrespected. This is a corny pro tip, but I actually keep a feelings wheel in my photo album on my phone because sometimes I'm like, what am I feeling? I need a list of words to think about this because I don't understand what I'm feeling. You can Google it. There's a million of them and they're very helpful. So I feel annoyed that my time is wasted. I feel disrespected. I feel let down. I feel disappointment. Where in the body are you feeling those things? And when I say where, there is some sort of sensation in your body where it's building up. Usually for me, it happens in my chest and my throat. I feel the tension. It might happen in your back. It might happen in your shoulders. Like there's somewhere you're holding these feelings in your body and you just want to pay attention to that because you want to try to break up that feeling. That's the ultimate goal. You want to release that feeling. The next step is to accept your feelings without judgment. It's totally normal to feel these things in response to this happening. You do not want to allow those feelings to dictate your actions. You just want to be aware of them. Next, you want to evaluate the situation accurately with facts and context. This is where you remove the personal from it. This is when you intellectualize a little bit because it's going to help you not take it personally. You do not want to absorb the situation. You want to understand it. Remember, this is not about you. She's the one that did something. You're reacting to it, and you can choose how you react. Now, in my scenario, I've made this person to be sort of flaky. Like, you have this inclination that she might bail on you. So you knew that going in. You have to take some responsibility for that. This person has bailed on you in the past. And that may even be a sign that you are frustrated with yourself. You're angry with yourself that you fell for it again. That may be a feeling that you overlooked. I feel duped. I feel foolish. My ego's wounded. That's triggered. I'm triggered. So I'm also taking this personally because I feel like this is a reflection of me being gullible. I fell for it again. I let her use me again. I let her like fill in the blank. Like, you start to feel bamboozled. Add that to the list of things you need to let go. So you can go a few different ways when evaluating the situation. So instead of thinking she doesn't care about me or my time, you can say this is a pattern for her. I don't think it's a reflection of me at all. I think this is just how she is. You can also think, even though she does have a pattern of flaking, maybe this is one of those strange circumstances where she actually has a good reason. Like, maybe something emergent has happened. Maybe there's something going on where she needs assistance, she needs support. You want to positively reframe the situation and find gratitude. For me, one reframe is a lesson. I've learned a lesson. I now know what I need to do with my friend in order to assure that she will show up. I understand the level of communication she needs in order to make sure that we're on the same page and that she's going to be there. I can call her before I get on the train. I can physically pick up the phone and make sure she's going to be there. I can communicate to her, hey, it takes me an hour to get there. You need to tell me 3 hours beforehand. Otherwise, it is disrespecting my time. That lesson is a positive reframe. The other thing to do here is find gratitude in the situation. If this were to happen to me now today, I would also think like, oh, okay, now I have some unexpected free time. That's awesome. I can go take myself on a little date. I can go do something I have been meaning to do that I haven't allowed myself to do alone. Let me go do that now. And I would have liked catching up with my friend, but now I get to catch up with myself. That's finding gratitude in the situation. There's always some silver lining somewhere. The last step here is to decide if you're going to set a boundary. You'll notice that we have not responded to her yet in all of these steps I've outlined. That is deliberate. That's because we have to think about how we want to handle the situation. What expectation do we want to set for future interactions with this person, with your friend? I want to first make clear what a boundary is. A lot of people think a request is a boundary. It is not. A boundary is an expectation plus a consequence. Here's an example. Let's say you have a roommate, and when you start fighting with your roommate, they curse at you, and you don't like that. They start calling you a bunch of names, or they'll get really angry and elevated and they'll start cursing. And you say to them, don't curse at me. That's a request. What happens when they curse at you? You can't control them. You can't make them not curse at you. They might do it still. You have to tell them what the consequence is for not behaving the way you have requested they behave. A boundary would be, don't curse at me. I don't like it when you curse at me. It makes the conversation unproductive. It makes me feel like you don't care about me. If you start cursing at me, I'm going to remove myself from the conversation. The request is, do not curse. I've thrown in why I don't want you to curse, and it's a reasonable explanation. The consequence, if they curse, is you will remove yourself from the conversation. You're going to end the discussion. The consequence is the boundary. You need both of those things. You need the request and the consequence. So let's say your friend has been texting you. She sent a bunch in a row, but you only read the first one where she canceled on you. You pick up your phone now, and you need to figure out what boundary you want to set, and you read what she says. She says, I'm so sorry I can't make it right now. My social anxiety is through the roof. I don't think I can go outside. I'm freaking out. That's a sympathetic reason for not wanting to go out. You can understand she's struggling, and you do like your friend. You enjoy her company. You don't want her to feel distressed. If she's going to go out and feel distressed, that's not going to bring you pleasure. So now you can decide how you want to respond. And you can do this over text. It might be easier if you're kind of new at setting boundaries and having these hard discussions to do it over text. Or you can call her. But I would say something along the lines of, I'm really sorry that you're experiencing anxiety. I wouldn't want you to go out if you're going to have a panic attack or anything. That would not be fun for either of us. But at the same time, I feel like you don't respect my time because now I'm on the train. I just spent an hour and a half doing my hair and getting ready and doing my makeup, and I'm on my way to the city now. And I invested time and put aside time for you, and you did not respect me enough to give me a heads up that this might be happening. And I think what I would do going forward is allowing her reaction to me expressing myself dictate what happens next. So if she says, it's not my fault, like I have anxiety, it's not my fault, I'd be like, girl, bye. That's not how you respond to someone telling you that you've disrespected them. Because if I was the one with anxiety or with depression, I would let them know. I would let them know in the beginning, like, hey, I'm having a hard time right now. I wouldn't plan to go to a dinner. I would be like, let's hang out at one of our houses where it's just us. And if you have a panic attack, you can go like lay in bed or take a shower or something, you know, like there are alternatives. And so if her response is to get mad at you for telling you how you feel about her behavior, that's it. Then I would start distancing myself from that friend or outright break up with them. If she responds with, I know, I'm so sorry, I feel so bad, but I really can't go out, that's when you start to problem solve. You can say, okay, can I come to your house? Can I go to you? That I would offer to go to her if she lived in a place that was like kind of near the restaurant. Be like, I'll go to you. If she says yes, sure. If I say, okay, we need to come up with alternatives then, if you are so socially anxious that this happens this frequently, then we need to have a actual conversation about this because this isn't working. This is impeding your relationships. Like, I'm not okay with this dynamic. We need to work on something going forward. You and me together, let's make an agreement right now to figure out a solution in the future. That's setting an expectation. And the implication there for the boundary is like, what's the consequence of not doing that? It's like, this isn't working for me anymore. And basically the implication is, you can say this more explicitly if you feel comfortable. It's like, I don't want to make plans with you if you're just going to keep canceling on me because it doesn't feel good. You've already reframed this as like a positive where you can go and do your own thing for the evening in the city. At the same time, you want to try to prevent this from happening again. And I think that's a win-win here. Obviously, the scenario where you're texting a friend is not one where you are doing all of these steps in person in front of someone. It is sort of a baby step to that. Being unbothered and dealing with triggers in person is much more difficult. It's like the next level of dealing with your triggers. My biggest piece of advice for you, if you are dealing with an emotional situation in person, don't react immediately. Do your breathing, let them talk, yell, whatever they're doing, deep breaths. Be as calm as you possibly can. And it's honestly going to take practice. It's going to take work. Don't let your physical reaction to the situation override your brain. That's your ultimate goal. Because sometimes people just want to see you react. They're doing and saying these things in person to get you to react. And the best reaction is no reaction at all. And even if it is something you decide that you want to engage in, by not reacting, you give yourself more options in how you go about addressing the situation. I have no idea how long this video is because I've been filming for like 2 hours, but let me quickly talk about the law of detachment because I feel like a lot of people who clicked on this video will want to hear about it, but it's actually not, in my opinion, not super related to dealing with people and people triggering you, though it can be. The law of detachment has to do with manifestation and with the law of attraction. If you are trying to attract a specific desired outcome into your life, what might end up happening is you get attached to a very specific desired outcome and you get attached to how to make that happen. The law of detachment comes into play because it was blocking people's manifestation when they get attached to something. When you are dealing with a person in your daily life, I don't feel like that really applies as much, except in the situation where that person represents one of your desired outcomes. An example of this would be a guy ghosting you after you've gone on 3 dates with him. Now, it's similar to your friend flaking on you, but it's a little different because you didn't have a desired outcome other than spending a nice night with your friend. With this guy, you might have attached a desired outcome to, oh my gosh, maybe he's the one, maybe he's SP, maybe he is the person that I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. And you started to get attached to that possible outcome with this guy, and then he ghosts you. Your friend flaking is still painful, it still bothers you, but it did not impede in a long-term goal. Whereas with this guy ghosting you, you feel like you just got set back on a goal of yours of finding your person and starting a family, for example. The difference here is the level of attachment that you have to these outcomes. The outcome for going to dinner, low level attachment to that person. a comment on your TikTok, low level attachment to that person. A guy you had high hopes for ghosting you, and it turns out it was actually nothing, and you got your hopes up again, and now you were let down. That was a high attachment situation, and it feels different. If your ultimate goal is to get married and start a family, you started to think that this guy was your how. You got attached to this specific path, and then he disappointed you. That attachment caused resistance to allowing things to unfold naturally. The law of detachment only really applies when you're talking about outcomes, because whenever you are attached to something, attached to a specific outcome or a specific way of things happening, you create resistance to allowing things to unfold naturally. You are trying to force it, when in reality, you just have to let it happen. A lot of what manifestation is allowing your intuition to guide you and steer you in the right direction. And a lot of it has to do with like trusting the process, trusting the universe, trusting God, trusting yourself to get you there. So when I say attachment resistance, I sort of think about it this way. Let's say you're flying a kite, and then a really strong wind picks up and the kite is being pulled, and you're holding the string even tighter, but the kite keeps getting pulled, and you don't know who's going to win, the wind or you. But if you were to just let go of your grip a little bit, let the kite fly up a little bit more, let the string go a little higher, the kite is going to find its own balance in the stronger current now of the wind, and it's going to balance out. You just had to let go a little bit. Sometimes letting go of control and allowing things to unfold naturally will create more harmony. It seems counterintuitive, but it also is exhausting to constantly try to control everything. So think of it as a balance. You set your intention clearly, you align your actions to that intentions in the way that your intuition tells you to, but then you have to find ways to let go of how and when it's going to happen. And I promise you, the how will never, ever, ever involve disrespecting yourself. The how will never involve hurting yourself. If your how involves distress, that's not your how. You are forcing it. Detachment is crucial for manifesting your desires because it allows you to remain open to the infinite possibilities of how your desire can actually unfold instead of being so rigidly focused on one avenue, one path. That guy that ghosted you, that guy that's not replying to you, he's not your path. Don't get stuck on him. Something that's very similar to dating that also involves people is job hunting. That recruiter that's not replying to your millions of emails, yeah, that job is probably not for you. Or you need to let go of that recruiter and find another way to find the job because that path's not working. Stop trying to shoehorn that person into being your how. If you want more about law of detachment, let me know and I will make a video about it. I'm gonna call it there. Thank you so much for watching and getting to the end. That's incredible. If you like this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. I really love hearing from you. And if you want more, I think this video about how to take radical responsibility and radical accountability for everything in your life is one of my hidden gems, and it did not get enough attention in the algorithm. So why don't you go check that out and let me know what you think. Until next time, thank you so much.